Welcome to a Board of Directors meeting of Rural Opportunities Incorporated. This particular meeting is actually a meeting of the Executive Committee of the Rural Opportunities Board, which is a smaller subgroup of the larger 40-member board. Full board meetings and executive committee meetings, however, are operated in almost the same manner. Our goal is to give you an idea of how board meetings are conducted and an understanding of your role as a member of the Board of Directors of Rural Opportunities. Rural Opportunities Incorporated is a private, not-for-profit, multi-state community development organization dedicated to improving the lives of farm workers and other low-income individuals. Our services include adult training and employment programs, housing development and management, housing services such as home buyers assistance and Section 8 renters assistance, community economic development, including small business development programs. Migrant Head Start, child and family programs. Health and safety programs. Emergency supportive services. Advocacy and public policy education. Our multi-state service area covers New York, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Puerto Rico. The Rural Opportunities Board is comprised of 40 board members. The majority of board members, 51%, are farm workers who are elected by their local Program Area Advisory Committee, or PAC, and our Migrant Head Start Parent Policy Councils. Our remaining board members represent our affiliate housing corporations and collaborative agencies who support our work and who have similar missions. Each board member has an alternate, who is also elected by their local group and who attends board meetings in their absence. According to the Rural Opportunities bylaws, which govern the operation of our organization, the Board of Directors has final authority to appoint its members and their alternates once they are chosen by their local groups to serve. This takes place at the corporation's annual meeting and sometimes at other board meetings if a vacancy needs to be filled. Board members serve 2-year terms and can be re-elected. The role of a board member is to oversee the operations of the corporation and to set policy. Basic responsibilities of a board member include to read and understand the Rural Opportunities mission statement and bylaws, the selection of the President and Chief Executive Officer, support of the President and Chief Executive Officer, and the review of his or her performance, to ensure effective organizational planning, to ensure that Rural Opportunities has adequate financial resources to operate effectively, to manage the resources of our corporation effectively, to determine and monitor programs, services, and affiliate housing corporation projects, and to serve as a court of appeals for ROI staff and personnel matters. As stated earlier, the Executive Committee of the Board consists of a smaller group of board members who are elected by the full board. It is comprised of no less than 50% farm workers. The Executive Committee is composed of the officers of the corporation, which include the chairperson, vice chairperson, treasurer, and secretary, and the chairpersons of all standing committees, which include personnel, finance, program operations, and research and issues. The board may also authorize the establishment of additional committees called ad hoc committees. These committees are formed for a special purpose. For example, a nominating committee is established when a new board of directors needs to be elected, and a new executive committee and new standing committees need to be appointed. Along with the officers of the corporation and the committee chairpersons mentioned above, the Executive Committee includes representatives from PACs, affiliates, and collaborative organizations. The maximum number of Executive Committee members is 15. The Executive Committee meets in between regular board meetings to carry out the necessary business of Rural Opportunities. It also meets when the full ROI board meets. The full board meets 3 times a year, and the Executive Committee meets by itself 2 times a year. The annual meeting of the corporation takes place in October of each year. And now to our Executive Committee meeting. Usually, both Executive Committee meetings and full board meetings are 1.5 days long. To begin each Board of Directors meeting, the chairperson calls the meeting to order. As with regular Rural Opportunities Board meetings, the first order of business is to review and approve the agenda for the meeting. The next order of business is to approve the minutes from the previous board meeting. In this case, the previous board meeting was the annual meeting of the Board of Directors in October of 1999. The agenda, minutes from the previous board meeting, staff reports, and so on are sent out to board members in advance of the meeting to give them time to review the material and to prepare for the meeting. After the agenda and the minutes are approved, a summary of the board resolutions passed in 1999 are reviewed. Board resolutions are actions taken by the board relating to the operation of the corporation. They are decisions about future actions that Rural Opportunities will take. There are many different types of resolutions. They include Operating resolutions, which are reviewed every year and mandate how our organization conducts business. Examples of operating resolutions include adoption of the corporate mission statement and action pledge, acceptance of the corporation's annual report, the appointment of our corporate attorney, the appointment of an audit firm, the initiation of the corporate audit, the appointment of a corporate insurance agency, and the granting of authority to sign contracts. There are resolutions regarding the membership of the full board of directors, the executive committee, and other standing committees of the board. There are resolutions to accept different reports, such as staff board reports and business plans. There are resolutions to establish new staff positions and personnel policies, and there are resolutions to apply for, accept, and use public and private funding. Both the full board and the executive committee participate in sessions without staff. This allows time for team building, board planning, and the discussion of sensitive issues and so on. Staff are preparing to leave the room to allow board members to conduct their private session. During full board meetings, a private session is usually held at the beginning of the board meeting and also at the end. Following the two sessions, the board usually meets alone with the president and CEO to discuss any topics that need to be discussed with the staff or organizational or board development issues. During executive committee meetings, the board has one private session together and one session with the president and CEO. Board meetings include a variety of agenda items depending on the time of year the meeting takes place, what is happening within the corporation, board priorities, and so on. Board members also like to hear from the different programs the agency operates. At this meeting, the director of our health and safety programs is giving an overview of the services her department provides. A volunteer with the program was also invited to speak about her experience as a peer educator. A number of different corporate reports are also on the agenda. A representative of the accounting firm who conducted the annual audit is invited to present a summary of the audit. The purpose of the audit is to verify that what Rural Opportunities states in its financial statements is true. The audit includes an evaluation of the accounting practices of our organization. Rural Opportunities is required by its government funding sources to conduct an annual audit. It provides a year-end compilation of financial information, and it is also used by the Board of Directors as a management oversight tool. Our corporate attorney is asked to give a report on legal issues relating to the operation of the corporation. Our corporation's insurance agent is asked to review the different types of insurance held by Rural Opportunities. These reports are done on an annual basis, as the Board of Directors is responsible for hiring the corporation's accounting firm and requesting that an audit be completed. The board is also responsible for hiring the corporate attorney and our insurance carrier. The meeting adjourns for lunch and will resume with a report from the president and CEO. The President and CEO or Chief Executive Officer prepares a report for each Board of Directors meeting. His report covers various topics related to the work of the corporation. This presentation includes a discussion on Farm Worker Program Area Advisory Committees or PACs, board member attendance, the 30th Anniversary Conference held in October of 1999, board elections, and an update on the Board of Directors conflict of interest policy. The deputy for board and volunteer development, who provides staff support and training to the board, is next on the agenda. She discusses the role of board staff liaisons in each state and gives a report on the activities, strengths, and further development of housing affiliates and advisory committees. The meeting is recessed until the next day. The chairperson of the board calls the meeting to order the following day. Next on the agenda is the review of current board resolutions and voting for or against them. Resolutions are numbered in numerical order within the year they are written. In order for the board of directors to conduct its business, 51% of board members must be present to constitute a quorum. Each member of the board has one vote. Board members or their alternates must be present to vote. Board members cannot send their vote with another board member or write down their vote and send it in. In most cases, except where it is stated in the bylaws, the majority or 51% vote is necessary to effect action. In rare cases, a 2/3 majority vote is required to effect action. The voting process includes a board member making a motion for the vote to take place. Another board member must second the motion. The chairperson then asks if there is any discussion before the vote takes place. Members then vote by saying aye if they are in favor and no if they are not in favor. Some members choose to abstain from voting on a certain issue because they might have a personal interest that would make it inappropriate for them to vote. When the full board meets, resolutions relating to the work of a particular board committee are reviewed at their committee meeting first. These committee meetings usually take place during the time of regular board meetings. For example, resolutions relating to program operations are reviewed at meetings of the Program Operations Committee before they are voted on by the full board. Resolutions relating to financial operations are reviewed by the Finance Committee, and personnel issues are reviewed by the Personnel Committee. During meetings of the full Board of Directors, the chair of each board committee, with the assistance from appropriate ROI staff, review resolutions pertaining to their committee with the full board before voting takes place. Board committee meetings do not take place during executive committee meetings. Resolutions are reviewed for the first time by the entire executive committee before a vote takes place. Once the voting on the resolutions is completed, the Deputy for Board and Volunteer Development discusses plans for a future Board of Directors meeting scheduled in Washington, D.C. Board members then work with her to plan the agendas and to establish the goals for the meetings of the Board of Directors in the year 2000. The issue of diversity is then discussed. The board has begun an initiative to address diversity issues within the organization. They discuss the results of a survey completed by board members. They decide that the issue needs ongoing attention, and they establish a standing committee to develop a comprehensive plan. The board will now recess from its regular meeting to meet privately with the President and CEO. They will discuss a number of issues that they would like to see the agency address. The board meeting will adjourn following this session.
Hi, I'm Aya Shaka. I was a student video producer on this project for the Rural Opportunities Incorporated training video. I had a lot of fun doing it. I'd like to thank Fran for introducing me, and I learned a lot about the rural opportunities. And I hope everybody learned something from this video. And thanks a lot.